So my name is Claire and I've got two children, a boy and a girl, 4 and 4 months. It was something that I really wanted to do, knew about the benefits for mum and baby and just the overall convenience, bonding, all that attachment stuff. Just thought it was something that I would just do without question of a doubt. When I had a little girl, just as I'd kind of delivered her, I was quite unwell after delivery. So it was not really like a great priority to be having like skin to skin with her and things like that for the initial couple of hours. And then when I did get time with her, um, I physically just wasn't really well enough to get established with her. So for the first 24 hours in hospital, I had a lot of support trying to feed her laying down, but it just wasn't something that was even on my mind to feed her. The midwives and health professionals saying, "Oh, she needs a feed, she needs a feed." So we just went and got some formula straight away. I genuinely think that my body just didn't bring in my milk because my birth was centered around adrenaline rather than oxytocin, really. I was 2 weeks overdue. So I had an induction that I didn't really want, but complied because it was my first baby and it's just followed kind of the instructions of what we advised. Went in on the Monday, got induced in the morning and delivered her on the Friday. It's classed as a failed induction and just didn't progress at all until the Thursday when I was just kind of pumped with all the drugs that you can have and had my waters broke. And then yeah, she was delivered on the Friday. So when I talk about being unwell afterwards, it was complete exhaustion really. That's what led me to becoming unwell because we'd been in the hospitals such a long time and not really slept. And so I managed to deliver vaginally and baby was fine and I was fine in the sense that once she was delivered, but we just were then treated after delivery almost immediately for sepsis. And I think that was just down to, I don't know, possibly examinations. And so then it took a couple of weeks for me to kind of settle down and kind of come back to kind of earth a little bit. But then I never really got better. I was still very, very hyper vigilant and very panicky and worried about things. So I actually got referred to SMABS, which is the specialist mother and baby service, which was amazing. And I stayed under their care for a year, to help me kind of process and understand what had happened because I couldn't remember anything. That was the biggest thing. It kind of took a lot of my memory away. So they were brilliant, and I had EMDR therapy with them, and I had that for a year, for about a week, once a week. They wanted to prescribe antidepressants for postnatal depression, and I was open to that, but I couldn't remember anything. So I was saying I can't remember what's happened. Um, and I remember asking my partner every detail, what happened on this day, or that's where this referral and this service stepped in and made me get well again. So they were absolutely amazing. They had a little bit of trouble getting him out, but it was nothing that, was frightening. But because they just taught me through every step, before you knew it, out. He was left for a while on my chest, and then he was taken to get wrapped up in his cord and everything. And then again, he was put straight back onto me. And then that was it. We went through into recovery, and he was just on me the whole time. It just stayed like that for the whole 24 hours afterwards. I just kept him on my chest constantly. Can't believe that was the biggest difference. I was the same person that I was when I went in that hospital that morning. And then I was the same person once he was delivered. That wasn't the case the previous time. And then we just had like the best 24 hours in hospital, just doing our own thing, just feeding and cuddling. And so I didn't really have like sadness about the fact that it didn't work out the first time. I actually like spent some time with my little girl also in bed with me, and she was just there as I was feeding, and she was involved in that sense, if you know what I mean. So it kind of felt like we like gone full circle, if you know what I mean. Like it didn't work out for her the first time. It was nice to see her just kind of like lapping it up and embracing it like through her brother. I had a student midwife allocated to me right at the very end of my pregnancy, and I met her at my local surgery at an appointment, and she was lovely, and she was like, "You just really need like continuity of care," and she was like, "I will be there if you can be like one of my case studies. I will be there on the morning of your C-section." So she met me at the hospital. She was the midwife that checked me in. She was there at the C-section. Um, she was there. She was my midwife in recovery. She took me up to the postnatal ward, and then she came out almost every day for 10 days. And she was involved in like the routine visits, but on the other days, she came out when it wasn't a routine visit, if you know what I mean. Uh, so seeing her for every day for like 10 days just like was like the extra reassurance, and she wasn't pushed for time. Like she wasn't coming in with the bag and scales and weighing him and doing all the routine checks. She was just coming to see like how I was and just to see how baby was and give me any feeding support that I needed, which really she just being there was like enough support. So I was really lucky in that sense as well, that I suppose I didn't panic because I knew that I had Harrier if I really needed it. Yeah, one of the hardest parts as well has been like feeding out and about, just getting comfortable and just feeding when you're out and about. Like when you do it at home and you've got your comforts and you can just be practically like topless. Just like going out and about just adds a whole new layer to it. You know, when you go out for a bit of lunch or you're in a shopping centre or places like that, where I'm able to make myself comfortable, like, I have no problem feeding. It's when like you're trying to feed like in a coffee shop or something and you're just like, oh, it's totally doesn't feel right. And you can't always schedule in like feeding at the most appropriate place at the right time, especially when you've got another one as well and you're just trying to like meet the needs of everyone. They do have like in one of the shopping centres, they do have like a really good infant feeding and changing space that has got like comfortable chairs and things. But yeah, and other spaces like the libraries and spaces like that are all really breastfeeding friendly. But I don't really tend to take myself off to spaces like that because I'm quite comfortable feeding. I'm not bothered about feeding out and about. It's just the comfortable aspect of it. I don't really want to remove myself from any situation. Like if I'm at dinner or I'm out with a group of friends or family, I don't want to take myself away to feed to a space like that. I'd rather just feed out. But then I just find that it's always so uncomfortable doing that.